Weather forecasters are expecting that Hurricane Delta will re-strengthen into a major hurricane, and that it may become a Category 3 storm when it makes landfall in the United States on Friday. Hurricane Delta intensified into a Category 3 storm on Tuesday afternoon, and it is expected that it may strike southwestern Louisiana with a similar strength on Friday. The storm is expected to make landfall in the United States along the southwest areas of Louisiana. This area is exactly where Hurricane Laura hit Louisiana 6 weeks ago. Conditions in the environment appear quite favorable for the strengthening of Hurricane Delta over the next 12 hours. Therefore, with these conditions, it is expected that Hurricane Delta will undergo additional intensification throughout Thursday night. Hurricane Delta is expected to bring life-threatening storm surges to the coast of Louisiana. Hurricane Delta is currently over the Gulf of Mexico, and it has strengthened into a Category 3 storm. Hurricane Delta will make landfall along the northern United States Gulf Coast on Friday. Hurricane warnings are currently in effect from the extreme upper Texas coast to parts of Louisiana. Storm surges, destructive winds, flood rains, and isolated tornadoes are all expected. Even areas that were previously ravaged by Hurricane Laura in August 2020 will be impacted greatly by Hurricane Delta. Hurricane Delta is currently at Category 3 status for a second time, and it is heading for a Gulf Coast landfall by Friday. And of course, with it will come life-threatening storm surges, damaging winds and rainfall that may cause flooding from the Louisiana area to the east of Texas to the Mississippi. This includes some of the same areas that were previously damaged by Hurricane Laura just a month ago. And as is expected, Hurricane Delta has intensified again over warmer areas of the Gulf of Mexico, and with a lack of disruptive shearing winds on Thursday, it only strengthened and is expected to strengthen more as the night progresses. Meteorologists were able to see a distinct eye in the center of Hurricane Delta. However, based on information coming in, it seems that the eye is becoming cloud-filled again, and with a more asymmetric look that might suggest that the environment is growing most hostile to the hurricane. The center of Hurricane Delta was previously located about 300 miles south of Cameron in Louisiana, and it was moving north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Hurricane warnings and hurricane watches are currently in place. A hurricane warning is currently in effect from Eye Island in Texas to Morgan City in Louisiana, which includes Lake Charles and Lafayette in Louisiana, and Port Arthur in Texas. This means that persons in these areas should expect hurricane conditions in 24 hours. A storm surge warning is also in effect from Island in Texas to Ocean Springs, Mississippi, which includes Calcasieu Lake, Vermilion Bay, Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Murray Pass, and Lake Bourne. This means that a life-threatening storm surge is expected within 24 hours. Persons living near these areas or close to the immediate coast and to any adjacent bays should ensure that they make all the necessary preparations and that they also have plans in place to evacuate the area. Tropical storm warnings are also in effect from Sargent to west of Eye Island in Texas and from east of Morgan City, Louisiana to the mouth of the Pearl River, which includes New Orleans. This also means that tropical storm force winds are expected in these areas within the next 24 hours. A tropical storm watch currently extends from the east of the mouth of the Pearl River to Bay St. Louis in Mississippi. This means that tropical storm force winds are also possible in these areas. The environment over the Gulf of Mexico is very warm and has a lower wind shear. Therefore, Hurricane Delta may continue to strengthen through early Friday morning. Hurricane Delta will also turn more to the north and then more to the northeast towards the U.S. Gulf Coast through Friday. As Hurricane Delta draws nearer to the Gulf Coast, its wind intensity may diminish somewhat due to increasingly unfavorable upper-level winds and cooler Gulf waters. Despite this possibility of weakening on approaching the Gulf Coast, Hurricane Delta won't have much time to weaken before making landfall, and is still therefore forecast to be a formidable hurricane when it makes landfall along the coast of Louisiana or to the extreme upper Texas coast later on Friday. Hurricane Delta will then move inland over the lower Mississippi Valley by this weekend, as it weakens into a remnant area of low pressure. Forecasters have outlined a few possible impacts across the areas where Hurricane Delta will make landfall. They are expecting storm surges and waves, as swells will be generated by Hurricane Delta, and these will in turn generate dangerous rip currents and high surf at beaches along the northern and western Gulf Coast, and this may lead to some coastal flooding at high tide in some low-lying areas well ahead of Delta making landfall. These conditions are specifically expected in the southern areas of Louisiana. Hurricane Delta's storm surges will be dangerous and life-threatening, regardless of any weakening of its winds up until it makes landfall. Highest storm surges are expected in parts of south-central Louisiana, nearer to the Gulf Coast, but also it is expected to occur in bays, inlets, and to some degree along rivers and bayous. Flooding could reach up to 7 or 11 feet above ground in some areas. Storm surges may also be caused from rain-swollen rivers and bayous, which may become temporarily backed up because they're unable to drain effectively into the Gulf. A dangerous storm surge is also expected in areas that were previously damaged by Hurricane Laura. Any slight shift in the forecast track for Hurricane Delta may bring higher storm surges to these areas. Some storm surge flooding is also expected in the southeast areas of Louisiana. It should also be noted that tropical storm force winds will arrive in the hurricane warning areas along the northern Gulf Coast as soon as early Friday morning. Hurricane conditions, which includes winds of 74 miles per hour or greater, are also expected in these areas by Friday afternoon and Friday evening as well. The strongest winds which will come with Hurricane Delta will be closer to the southwest and south-central regions of Louisiana and closer to the extreme upper Texas coast at landfall as the eye wall moves ashore. This is where structural damage, power outages, and downed trees will be most widespread and severe. Southwest Louisiana is specifically vulnerable to strong winds as a result of the damage that was previously caused by Hurricane Laura in August 2020. As with most hurricanes, strong winds that are capable of knocking down trees and causing electrical outages will also extend inland as Hurricane Delta gains some forward speed near and after making landfall. It will continue into most of Louisiana and continue along the extreme eastern areas of Texas, Mississippi, and the southern regions of Arkansas late Friday into Saturday. It is also expected that Hurricane Delta will bring flooding rainfall. A faster forward speed than what was observed from Hurricane Sally in August will lessen Delta's extreme rainfall potential to some degree, though heavy rainfall is still expected from this system, specifically along and to the east of its path. Heavy rainfall combined with storm surges could worsen and prolong flooding for a time along the northern Gulf Coast. It should also be expected that Hurricane Delta will bring 5 to 10 inches of rain, with isolated 15-inch amounts expected with Delta in the southwest and south central regions of Louisiana. This rainfall could cause flash flooding and minor to locally major river flooding as well. Rainfall totals of 3 to 6 inches with isolated 10-inch amounts are forecast to occur in parts of extreme eastern Texas, northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and the western regions of Mississippi. Locally, there will be some heavy rainfall, which may also spread into the Ohio Valley, southeast, and mid-Atlantic areas over the weekend. Tornadoes are also expected. As with most landfall in hurricanes and tropical storms, there's also a threat of isolated tornadoes from Hurricane Delta. Southeast Louisiana and the southern regions of Mississippi have the greatest chance of seeing a few tornadoes over Thursday night through to Friday night, mainly in outer rain bands where rotating thunderstorms typically occur in tropical cyclones which are moving inland. Some isolated tornadoes are also possible on Saturday with the remnants of Delta in parts of the Tennessee Valley. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments down below and let me know what you think about this massive hurricane, which is currently a Category 3 storm. Thanks for watching.